Okay, hi everybody. This is Brother Wolf, HS 345, and this is section 4. I hope I have that right because I have 2 sections this semester. This is group 1, and this is case number 6. Now I'm going to, for the benefit of those that are going to listen to the recording, just to give you a little bit of background, 2 groups will present this exact same case. There's not one right way or wrong way necessarily on approaching these cases. You can make different assumptions depending on what your understanding and those types of things are. So kind of the design here is that each group will present in this recording. I'll post the link to the recording. And then where the real learning takes place is when every member of the class watches both recordings and points out differences and similarities and asks questions as to why you took this approach versus that approach. So this is just the beginning. The majority of the work should take place in the discussion board, and that's kind of the collaborative learning that can take place. So kind of with that background, I will turn it over to group 1 and let them present their approach. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, this is case number 6 on Columbia Hospital. Our group members are Mallory Holt, Jenny Rogers, Lauren Tanner, Yolanda Stutzman, and Janet McDowns. Question number 1, is the clinic projected to make a profit with no change in volume? The clinic is not projected to make a profit because the net loss, profit loss, is negative $3,173 per month. As you can see from our forecasted profit and loss statement, total revenues are $54,888 and variable costs are $23,398, which gives us a contribution margin of $31,490. Our fixed costs equal $34,663, so our loss is $3,173. You can see our calculations below. Our calculations for finding the revenue per visit of $40.66. Variable costs and fixed cost items can be determined by looking at Exhibit 6.1 in the case study. Of course, the variable costs are the ones that change, and the fixed are the ones that stay constant every month. Question 2, how many additional visits must be generated to break even? To find the volume of visits that need to occur to break even, we take the net revenue per visit of $40.66 and subtract it by the variable cost per visit of $17.33. Multiply that by V for volume to equal the total fixed cost of $34,663 per month. We solve for V, which gives us a break-even point of 1,486 visits. We take that number and divide by 30 days, and that would give us a needed average of 50 patients per day to break even. The current average is 45 patients per day. This creates a need of an additional 5 patients per day. This is our graph of the slide before, our break-even graph with the break-even point of 1,486 visits. This is without implementing the marketing program. Question 3, we figured this question in 2 separate ways. The question is, assume the new marketing program is implemented, how many visits must be generated to break even? The first method that we used, we only used the $7,000 fixed cost related to the new marketing program with no increase in patients. According to our calculations, we would have a volume of 1,786 visits that would be needed to break even with the implementation of the new marketing program. If you take that number and divide it by 30 days, it equals 60 patients per day approximately. that would need to be seen. This means that the clinic would need the marketing program to bring in at least 15 more patients per day to break even with the added $7,000 additional cost in order to run the program. Again, this only considers the fixed cost without an increase in patients. So this is our break-even graph with the new marketing program implemented without an increase in patients. So the break-even point would be 1,786 visits. Our second method that we used was to use the $7,000 fixed cost related to the new marketing program with an increase in patients. If Columbia Memorial did see that increase of 436 more patients each month to cover the fixed costs of the program, then the following would be calculated to cover the variable and semi-fixed costs of the program, given an increase of 15 patients per day from the current 45. So this break-even calculation shows us that we would actually need to need an even greater increase of patients than the 15 per day. With this break-even number, you can see that our volume is 2,495. With that volume, this now means that an additional 1,145 patients need to be seen on a monthly basis to cover the additional costs, including salaries, fixed costs, physicians, supplies, etc. In other words, 39 more patients would need to be seen per day to break even. This would put the clinic at maximum capacity with 84 patients. The maximum capacity is actually 85, but that would put it at a This is our break-even graph for that calculation with the new marketing program and an increase in patients. It shows our break-even point of 2,495 visits. I'm going to turn the time over to Janet to discuss the remaining questions now.
Question number 7. Does this allocation scheme bias your break-even analysis? We decided that yes, the allocation scheme can bias our break-even analysis because the more patients seen, the higher the cost of the malpractice insurance. This changes the cost of malpractice from being a fixed cost to a variable cost and increases with each patient visit. If this is the case, the break-even analysis would be less definitive because an increase in patients does not bring an increase of 23.33 in net revenue per patient. Instead, it brings a contribution margin of 23.33 minus the increases from the malpractice insurance every time a new patient is seen. Next. Question 8. What impact does tax status have on your break-even analysis? While the clinic just barely breaks even, while it is operating at a loss, taxes have no impact on the company. The taxes would influence the finances once the company makes a profit. Corporations pay income tax on profits. If you can't pay income tax on a lack of profit, even if the clinic was a partnership, the taxation would be passed from the company onto a personal level. Next slide. Question 9. Does the clinic have any value besides numerical analysis? Do the actions taken by Baptist Hospital have any influence on the final decision? The clinic has more value than just the numbers. They take care of a lot of patients with minor, easily treatable illnesses in a short amount of time. The clinic can do so for less cost than going to the hospital. This new competition is threatening because of the more options presented to the patients. Clinics are also generally cheaper, so they can be competitive with pricing to draw patients in. Question 10. What is your final recommendation concerning the future of the clinic? We believe the clinic should not continue to operate and implement the new marketing plan. Although doing so would open the door to new clients and would avoid breaking the lease and taking on a $37,500 unwanted fee, as the break-even analysis shows, the clinic would have to almost double their current patient load in order to break even. They would need to see 84 patients a day to cover the cost of the marketing program and the added variable and semi-fixed costs associated with implementing it. The clinic would have to significantly increase their charges per visit to make up for the added costs while staying in the range with the market and what patients are willing to pay. Based on break-even analysis, if the net revenue per patient was increased by $10, the break-even point for Columbia Memorial, with the new marketing program costs and increases in patients, would be 1,746 patients per month, or 58 patients per day, an increase of only 13 patients versus an increase of 39 patients needed under the current net revenue schedule. However, if the Columbia Memorial increased its revenue per patient by just $20, only 1,343 patients would need to be seen per month, which equates to exactly what is being seen today, on average, of 45 patients a day. This scenario is also dependent upon the unknown effects of the Baptist facilities purchasing of other primary group practices and what their charges will be.
And the way that we
calculation for increasing costs.
Go ahead, Janet.
Go ahead, you.
I was going to say the way that
Yolanda, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, the way that we calculated these increases in revenues by adding the 10 and the 20, we know that it's not realistic for a in a hospital care setting for them to just increase charges, because most charging places are payers, are third-party payers, which makes, and insurance companies don't just, it's not a fee-for-service based generally. You don't just get paid what you're asked. But if this was kind of just to bring in another element that of what it would take to allow them to keep the marketing or add the marketing program and what the effects would be. So we took the original $40.33 that from the question number 1, 2, and 3, and added $10 to that net revenue amount, and still subtracted out the semi-fixed cost that would be there to configure both of those, the way that we analyzed the question number 10 and how we got those. That's why these equations are here. That's it.
And thank you. That's very well done. You guys did an excellent job. And can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Very good. So I'm going to kind of withhold comments and questions and those sorts of things because I want the other group to present, and I kind of want everyone to be able to read both of these and kind of discuss it in the discussion board. So if towards the end of the week you are having questions about things that we haven't addressed in the discussion board, then I can be a little bit more kind of direct. But you guys did a great job. So, and it sounds like you've already posted the slides, so thank you for doing that. And then just monitor the discussion board. And now I'm speaking to the rest of the class. Make sure you watch this group's presentation, and please watch the other groups, and please engage. And when this group and the other group asks you questions and engages you in questions and comments, please respond back. So does the group have any last minute comments or questions before I let you go?
Nope.
Okay, thanks for all your hard work. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.